Ugh. So Sirens of Time. Sirens of Time. It's very important. It was the first Doctor Who story that Big Finish ever did. It was the start of their main range, which this debuted in, I want to say, mid-1999, and the main range itself has been going on a monthly basis. Sometimes and nowadays usually they do two on September. So, and they're clocked in at about over 150 at this point. So it's a big deal. From this came a bunch of great stories. Some I've reviewed. Two would be used as the basis to modern day stories. One successful, and the other one was a Cybermen two-parter. Teehee. Now, but we're going all the way back to the beginning. A small startup company got big by using a Doctor Who spin-off of all things as, their big kind of attention getter. Now they're in the main event. And plus, they decided to blow it out of proportion by adding 3 Doctors. I already spoiled it, didn't I? Yeah, Sirens of Time is a thing that happened. It kind of dropped the ball with being, the big opening kind of story to your line by being a ginormous, okay, multi-Doctor stories, and we're doing 3 Doctors still. The Exodus does apply to the 3 Doctors. I mentioned there that the story's not exactly well constructed, but seeing interactions between the Doctors work out pretty well. That's what keeps it going. This has that too. The problem is, and honestly, I thought the idea worked in its favor to begin with, but the multiple Doctors, 5, 6, and 7, as seen in this somewhat really bad-looking photoshopped image, they got really better with their covers after this. Much better. They actually decided not to just have them all show up at the beginning, but have them have one episode to one. Okay, they had one episode. The first one starts with the 7th, and the second one's the 5th, and then the third one's with the 6th Doctor, and then in the final episode they all meet up. I kind of like this idea. It allows to kind of see the plot go through and happen over. With all these 3 Doctors having unite to fix the problem. I like that. That's a good setup. The only problem is, parts 1 and 2 barely have anything happening. It literally, what happens in those 2 episodes could be summed up in like 2 seconds. 7th Doctor lands on this weird planet, meets a girl, move on to part 2. 5th Doctor lands on a weird ship. Here's some quote-unquote sirens. Part 3. Tons of crap happens in part 3. And then even more things just go at 50,000 miles an hour in part 4. It's a pacing nightmare. The first 2 parts are very I mean, again, a credit to the actors, the main actors playing the Doctor. All in all, everyone in this story. The actors at least make this okay to get through, but there's really nothing in the first half, and then so much stuff is piled on in the last 2 that it's kind of annoying, and it was getting really, really obnoxious. Seeing the 3 Doctors together was definitely worth it, especially those particular ones. I don't know why, but I loved how they all played off each other, and they're see how how they're all different from each other. But yeah, I'd honestly skip this. It's on thin ice because it's a multi-Doctor story, which honestly, those aren't the best because they seem like they're just banking on, look at all these Doctors here, isn't that grand? And this one does that in spades. And and plus I think it's just an example of, they started this was early, so you forgive it partly because this was done by Nick Briggs, written and directed. Nick Briggs, who, of course, is very important because he voices the Daleks in the modern series. He voices a lot of monsters in the modern series. Cyberman, the Jadoon, I think there's a few others. And he does a lot of the creature voices for Big Finish throughout as well, so there's a set-up precedent to it all. The first one I ever did, I reviewed Destination Urfa. I actually liked a lot. And there's a few others I've listened to that he's also done that are very good. So I think this was just an example of he didn't really he was kind of on training wheels, and he just kind of went overboard with what he wanted to do and just didn't get what he wanted outright. After this, he's far improved. He has his down. He still, has his down moments, but I think any good writer should be allowed to have that, especially with him. So, yeah, Sirens of Time. Not worth it. I not really. Maybe someday after you listen to some better ones, it's worth checking out, like I did. But I wouldn't recommend this as the first one to get. I'd still stick with Jubilee, Spare Parts. Fearmonger I liked a lot. Those are all very easy to get into. So, yeah, I'm going to quit talking about this now because I don't want to talk about it anymore. Bye.